Can count on. Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News on Mid-Missouri CW starts now.
The Columbia Police Officers Association is reacting to former Chief Ken Burton's DWI arrest last night. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reek.
And I'm Natalie Sapila. Thanks for joining us. In a statement, the association said, quote, "Our police officers are highly trained professionals, and every day, often under difficult or awkward circumstances, our officers are called upon to enforce the law." They concluded the statement saying, "Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but no one is above the law." KOMU 8's Rosamond Crown is here with a timeline of troubles leading up to Burton's arrest.
Burton is now a private citizen, but his arrest is the latest episode for him in a troubling few years, starting when he was chief. In April 2012, the Missouri Fraternal Order of Police called for Burton to resign for wrongful termination of Officer Rob Sanders. Then in July of 2016, the activism group Race Matters Friends also called for Burton's resignation. They accused him of having a weak response to racial profiling. Months later in December, Burton was placed on administrative leave, and the city at the time did not release info as to why. That same day, a report by the Columbia Missourian found that Burton, on more than half a dozen occasions, was skipping work events to instead drink alcohol at a local bar. 8 days later, Burton resigned. Now, about 4 months later, Burton has been arrested for a DWI. And although he was arrested, Burton was never booked into jail. Officers issued him a municipal summons for the DWI and for running through stop signs. KOMU reached out to Burton, Mayor Treese, and the city. They all declined to comment. Rosamond Crown, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
Our viewers chimed in on our Facebook page after we broke the story about Burton's arrest. Linda Griggs says, quote, "Praying for this former police chief. Never know what a person may be going through at any given time." Stephanie Oliver says, "Since when do you get released on a summons for DWI?" Another user, Becky, says, "It amazes me that so many people in the modern day of technology drink and drive and don't consider an Uber, a Lyft, or a taxi. But no, let's save a couple bucks and risk lives. Disgusting and irresponsible."
One gun and lots of loose change stolen during 5 car break-ins in Ashland last night. KOMU 8's Elena Chappie is live in Ashland to tell us how the thief or thieves got in and why a neighbor is concerned.
I'm live on Ponderosa and Redwood, 2 of the streets that were affected in last night's situation. On many break-ins, the suspect will have to try and jimmy their way into the car. But in last night's case, it was as easy as this.
Lock your cars.
Delbert Stevens says he isn't worried about his car getting broken into.
I don't worry about it because we don't leave valuables or weapons in our vehicles, and we lock them.
But what does concern him is the gun that's now missing.
And it worries me because I know this is an area where a lot of people have firearms. And some are careless, and obviously that one individual was careless.
Chief Lynn Wolford says the gun theft is very concerning.
Because it's not in possession of by the owner any longer, so we don't know where it is and what the intent is to do with the gun. You know, pawn shop, commit a crime, throw it in the ditch, we have no idea.
Wolford says there are more steps to take towards finding the gun.
Now, as far as I know, we're still waiting on the serial number. That's one of the requirements that we need to dispatch that information regionally.
Like Stevens, Wolford said avoiding such situations is simple.
We encourage people not to leave valuables in the car because sometimes we all forget to lock the doors, you know, so we prefer that the items of value not be easily obtained.
Wolford says sometimes being careful is more important than being convenient. Wolford says there are no suspects at this time. Live in Ashland, Elena Chappie, KOMU 8 News.
Neighbors and friends of a Columbia mother and former star athlete are reacting to allegations she's involved in a child porn scandal. KOMU 8 spoke with Bailey's ex-boyfriend, Gamal Castillo. He declined to go on camera, but said the daughter he shared with Bailey is in his custody. He is confident neither of Bailey's children were involved in the child pornography. Brittany Bailey is behind bars now, but was able to hide behind her computer when she sent and received child porn. KOMU 8 spoke with an expert who said the internet has made addictions easier to hide from loved ones. She said child porn addicts have usually experienced some sort of trauma.
I just think it's important for the public to understand this is a really painful addiction for people to have. They're not enjoying it. They are in deep, deep pain.
U.S. Attorney Tim Garrison has requested Bailey remain in jail with no bond until her detention hearing on Tuesday. She could serve at least 5 years in prison.
Today, the former county executive of St. Louis County pleaded guilty to federal corruption charges for giving political favors in exchange for campaign donations. Steve Stenger was accused of 5 different pay-to-play schemes. He refused to answer questions after the hearing. He could get 20 years in prison on each count.
We currently are tracking rain that is moving through the viewing area at this time. We're seeing most of the rain staying south of our viewing area, but we are seeing some stray spotty showers up near I-70. That'll be pushing east as we go throughout the rest of the evening and into those overnight hours. That should push out early morning tomorrow. As we head towards the rest of the day, we will be warming up to 69 degrees and we'll see some sunshine and be staying dry for most of your weekend, but rain will make its route approach back into the forecast and stay there. We see lots of chances for rain coming up, and I will be tracking that all ahead so I can help you plan ahead as you go towards your week.
The state capitol looks different tonight. It's bathed in blue to honor police officers who died on the job. KOMU8's Isaac Janes is live in the capital city with a look.
Yeah, about half an hour ago, there were lots of people out on Broadway here in Jefferson City, right next to the Capitol. It's a balloon release, bagpipes, drums. People from all across Missouri have come here to pay their respects. This is the 25th annual event put on by Missouri's chapter of the National Concerns of Police Survivors. It's a group for families of those killed on the job and their supporters. One member told me the group helps people get through their hardest moments. And now the weekend's events don't end with this vigil. Mo Cops will also hold a memorial service tomorrow morning right here at the Capitol. Live in Jefferson City, Isaac Janes, KOMU8 News.
The downtown Columbia Post Office got a new name and a plaque today. It's been renamed in honor of Army Specialist Sterling Wyatt. He died in 2012 while serving in Afghanistan. It was an emotional day for his family as each member spoke to a large crowd that gathered.
We have been fortunate enough that our son has been very revered, and I'd like to really think of him as kind of the poster person for our servicemen. Because I don't want it just to be about Sterling. He wouldn't want that.
Also in attendance, Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, who was the first presented with the idea of renaming the post office 2 years ago.
Coming up, Governor Parson assesses damage after a tornado hits the state.
Plus, small Missouri towns no match for record flooding on the mighty Mississippi.
Spotty showers are going to make their way out of the region as we head towards tomorrow. We'll stay dry for most of our weekend with increasing sunshine and warmth, but be sure to enjoy it because lots of rain is in the forecast. I'll track that out coming up next.
Never be surprised by the weather. Download the free KOMU8 Weather and Traffic app. Brought to you by Central Bank of Boone County.
1 in 5 Americans live with a mental illness, such as depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. See the person, not the disease. Educate yourself and be part of the change. Recognize that mental illness, like physical illness, can get better. Don't whisper behind closed doors. Bring this issue out of the darkness of our society and help us battle the stigma. It's time we talk about it.
Sometimes the best memories require getting a little messy. And frankly, that's where the fun begins. At Slumberland, we've got the styles for all your memories with our low price guarantee. Plus, right now, during our spring savings sale, get up to 65% off throughout the store on your favorite things. Get a little messy and always go for the memories. Slumberland, it's a good life.
How do you open tough jar lids? Do you try this one? Or this one? Or how about this one?
Honey?
This is the future. Shouldn't there be a robot for this by now? There is. Introducing RoboTwist, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids. Just set it down, press the button, and watch it work. First, the RoboStrong vise locks down tight. Then the powerful twisting action unscrews the lid. RoboTwist is yours for the special introductory price of just $19.99. That's right, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids, all for just $19.99. Whether the jar is big or a small, RoboTwist can open them all. Supplies are limited, so don't delay. Here's how to get yours today.
Call 1-800-349-8413. That's 1-800-349-8413 or order online at buyrobotwist.com.
It's the Sober Ride Defenders. The Key Hider. Search hard, you'll never find them. The Fast Dialer. She's called a ride before you've even said bye. The Stubborn No. He never lets you drive impaired. The Already There. Enough said. The Sober Ride Defenders. Getting you home safe.
You don't have to wear a cape to be a hero. Just make sure everyone has a sober ride. Face it, driving impaired affects lives.
The First Alert Weather Cam is brought to you by the law firm of Harper, Evans, Wade, and Nettemeyer. We will fight for you.
Governor Parson traveled to the Springfield area to tour Tuesday's tornado damage. He met with homeowners, emergency responders, volunteers, and homeowners to discuss the damage and recovery efforts. The tornado was rated an EF2. It destroyed several homes and buildings. It traveled on the ground 10 miles. 3 people were injured.
The Mississippi River spilled over its banks in Clarksville, Missouri. That's in Pike County, about halfway between Hannibal and St. Louis. Water covers railroad tracks and the main highway. Hundreds of volunteers have been filling sandbags. The Mississippi is expected to reach a near record of 37 feet.
Lincoln County Emergency Management says water has toppled over the levee at the Winfield Ferry. Nonviolent inmates helped with sandbagging efforts along Big Box Road in Lincoln County. Sandbagging operations began at 7 this morning. Officials also issued a voluntary evacuation for residents who live in Foley, Winfield Acres, and East Winfield.
Rescuers in southwest Missouri have found the body of a kayaker who went missing Wednesday. The body of 35-year-old Scott Puckett was found in Bull Creek. He had gone kayaking with 2 others. Only one survived. He grabbed a tree and was rescued. The kayaks capsized when they hit a whirlpool. MU making new improvements for students with mental health resources. That's coming up.
We'll have some dry time this weekend. We'll see some sunshine Saturday and Sunday, but rain is back in the forecast and it's here to stay till this time next week. I'll track it out next.
Years ago, I had fallen down my steps at home. I could no longer sit and do my job. When I was about to be foreclosed on, lights were getting ready to get cut off, so I contacted the offices of Karen Krausfield, and they held my hand and guided me through it. They explained to me everything that was going to go on in order to get my case seen. They were amazing to help me through this process. Without the offices of Karen Krausfield, I would not have been able to do it.
Disability law is all we do.
The KOMU8 iPhone and Android News app is brought to you by University Subaru. Download yours today.
If you've been accused of a crime and are in need of legal representation, contact the team at Carson & Coyle.
We defend our clients in all criminal matters and are prepared to present your case to a judge or jury.
Our criminal defense attorneys handle the investigation and legal preparation to protect your interests at trial.
It's important to choose an attorney who can guide you through the criminal justice system.
For over 50 years, we have built our reputation here in mid-Missouri with offices in Jefferson City and Columbia to better serve you. At Carson & Coyle, we are dedicated to protecting your legal rights.
Go into overtime with KOMU8 Sports Extra with Chris Gervino. Sunday nights after KOMU8 News at 10. Get the play-by-play with exclusive interviews, expert analysis, and exciting highlights. Join Mizzou Sports Authority Chris Gervino and special guests for the best insights on Mizzou athletics and all your favorite local teams. Watch Sports Extra with Chris Gervino Sunday nights after KOMU8 News at 10 for sports coverage you can count on.
Good evening and welcome back to KOMU8 News. We're taking a look at our time lapse over Jefferson City of today, where we only warmed up to about 60 degrees, but we didn't see too much rain, just mist and drizzle throughout the day. We stayed cloudy. We did not see much sunshine today, but luckily that's going to change as we head into tomorrow. We are currently looking at our live Doppler 8 First Alert weather radar, and this is what we're seeing on satellite currently. We do have some rain moving around the 44 corridor. It's going to move over to the east, but we're not going to be getting much from that. It seems to be sticking to the south of our viewing area. We have been getting a little bit of drizzle, but it's mainly just going to be a foggy mist mix that's going to last as we go through those overnight hours. It'll remain spotty as we go through the hours overnight, but we will start to clear out as we head towards tomorrow and Sunday. We'll have a dry weekend. We'll be on a warming trend until Monday, capping out at 79 degrees as our high on Monday, but rain will make its way back into the forecast and stay there, and we'll be dipping down to 70 around Wednesday. We'll keep that rain in the forecast though, so let's track that out hour by hour. This is going to be the rain that moves through overnight tonight. We'll see that continue to follow the 44 corridor, move over to the east. We might see some more spotty showers as we go into those early morning hours tomorrow, but that'll move out, and so will those clouds. Around lunchtime, we'll start to see some sunshine, and we'll start to warm up. And those who see more sunshine, those who live north of I-70, you guys might even warm up into the low to mid 70s tomorrow, depending on how much sunshine you do see. But it will be dry and clear after that. But we are concerned with next week. So next week, we have lots of chances for rain. Our ground is already saturated, and that's going to make it able to renew our flood threat. We have a couple heavy thunderstorms with rain possible on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's going to bring a lot of rain along with it. So that flood threat will be renewed. By the end of the week, our chances will start to dwindle, but we still, at the end of it, will have 1 to 4 inches of rain added to our total for this month. We make sure you are staying tuned with us so we can keep you up to date as those systems approach. But for tonight, we're not seeing any thunderstorms. We're just seeing some spotty showers move out towards the east. 50 degrees is our low. We'll stay mostly cloudy tonight. We'll have spotty showers that continue to move through, but tomorrow will be dry. 69 as our high. We'll see increasing clouds, and we'll be mainly dry throughout the rest of the weekend, but rain will be making its way back into the forecast by Monday and staying there. So make sure your umbrella is on standby because you are going to be needing it for the rest of the week. We'll be tracking out those storms and possible flooding threats throughout the week, and make sure you stay up to date with your latest weather here at KOMU8 News or on the weather app.
Jenna, thank you very much. MU students will soon have a specific place to go for mental health needs. MU is moving all counselors to Parker Hall. The change is meant to streamline the process for students. Starting in August, 6 full-time counselors and 1 part-time will operate there. MU believes the change will make it easier for students to get help.
The big difference that they should see is that it should be easier to know where to go. We did this because there had been confusion in the past as to where do we go on campus for counseling services.
The center will offer free services to all students after the move. The MU esports team is getting $130,000 from an anonymous donor. The team's head coach says the donor thinks Mizzou has the potential to be on the forefront of collegiate esports. In case you don't know, that involves playing video game tournaments. The coach plans to use most of the money on scholarships. He says the donation will also be used for team travel and updates in the gaming room.
Here's what's happening right now. The South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff say North Korea fired an unidentified short-range missile toward the east. This comes while a diplomatic breakdown followed the failed summit earlier this year between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. The Joint Chiefs of Staff say North Korea's missile was fired from the East Coast. South Korean and U.S. authorities are analyzing the details of the launch. President Trump says he and Russian President Vladimir Putin talked about Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report today. But he says they did not discuss Mueller's conclusion that Russia did meddle in the 2016 election. Mueller found insufficient evidence to prove criminal conspiracy, but the investigation concluded the Russian government interfered in the 2016 presidential election in sweeping and systematic fashion to help Trump win. President Trump's former attorney will report for prison this Monday. Michael Cohen is scheduled to report to the Federal Correctional Institution in Ottsville, New York. The 53-year-old was sentenced to 3 years last December for tax evasion, lying to Congress, and campaign finance crimes. The medium security prison is actually 2 federal facilities with a total of about 800 inmates.
Mizzou softball with an SEC challenge tonight against South Carolina. We've got highlights coming up next in sports.
Low on cash and credit? Need easy approval?
It was time for me to look for a car, so JD Byrider was my first choice.
And JD Byrider is a great way to save on a great car with a great warranty.
Whenever I decided to come to JD Byrider, one of my close friends / coworker had a vehicle through here, and they had just gotten it. It was great. They saved so much money.
This is one of the best places I have ever, been to look at a car because, friendly service, and they just treat you like family.
Betty and Debbie both need to trim their dog's nails, but Betty's dog hates having his nails trimmed, so she struggles every time. And her regular clippers pinch and cut to the quick. But Debbie's dog doesn't mind it at all because she's found a simple solution. Introducing Paw Perfect, the new safe, quick, and easy way to keep your dog's nails trimmed perfectly. Paw Perfect uses a rotary filing action, just like the pros do, to gently file the nail to a perfectly smooth finish, giving you precise, pain-free trimming right at home. Paw Perfect replaces old-fashioned, painful clippers like these and makes nail grooming safe and easy for just $19.99. That's less than one trip to the groomer. We'll even give you free shipping. Order right now and you can get a second Paw Perfect. Just pay a separate fee. Yes, you get it all.
To order, call 1-800-714-4330 or go to trypawperfect.com. That's 1-800-714-4330 or visit trypawperfect.com.
Now from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU8 Sports.
Good evening, everyone. Missouri softball in action tonight, hosting the South Carolina Gamecocks. The Tigers are looking to keep their momentum after shutting out the UMKC Kangaroos 8-0 in 6 innings Wednesday. Missouri up against number 21 South Carolina. Third inning, Gamecocks up 2-0, and Alyssa Kumiyama launches a solo shot deep into the night, 3-0 South Carolina. Missouri responds in the bottom half of the frame. Kim Wirt singles to left to score Reagan Nash. Bottom of the fifth, 3-2, South Carolina. Colby Romaine hits it to right field, gets it by the outfielder. Wirt scores to tie the game. And we're currently tied at 3 in the 7th inning. Mizzou baseball continues its push for the postseason as the Tigers clash with the Tennessee Volunteers tonight in Knoxville. This game has the Tigers down 5-11 in the bottom of the 8th. The Volunteers scored early and kept it going with 4 runs in the 6th inning. The Volunteers have scored another 3 runs, giving the team a bigger lead in the 9th inning. The AMC tournament is moving along with Columbia College beating Lyon College 7-3. William Woods beat William Baptist 8-2 to advance. Columbia and William Woods will play a best-of-3 series for the AMC Tournament Championship. Games 1 and 2 of the series are on Saturday. The Cardinals and the Cubs renewing their rivalry this afternoon at Wrigley Field. The Cards winners of 8 of their last 10 games, and the Cubs winners of 7 of their last 10. Some fog was in the air above the scoreboard, not your best baseball weather, but in the bottom of the 3rd, Anthony Rizzo wipes the fog away. He launches the pitch from Jack Flaherty over the wall in the right field, bringing in Daniel Descalso and Chris Bryant. Cubs lead 3-0. Bottom of the 7th, Javier Baez hits a single, bringing in Chris Bryant from second base, making it 4-0 Cubs. Cubs starting pitcher Kyle Hendricks strikes out Harrison Bader in the top of the 8th. It was a shutout game for Kyle Hendricks today. The Cubs take this one, winning 4-0. They will play again tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Royals are in Motor City tonight, taking on the Detroit Tigers. Kansas City is still tied for the worst record in the American League, and this loss added another hit to their record, losing 4-3 the Tigers. The Royals tried to make a comeback in the 9th inning with a homer from Jorge Soler, but they couldn't finish it out. Kansas City will look to redeem themselves tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's Game 5 of the Blues and Stars series. The Blues are looking for redemption after losing to the Stars on Wednesday 2-4. The game just got started, but in the first 3 minutes of the first period, Jason Spezza scored the first goal of the game for the Dallas Stars. This gave them an early 1-0 lead over the Blues. And that's it for sports.
Samantha, thank you very much. Up next, a heartwarming story about 2 strangers who created a lifelong bond.
Find out how they met coming up next.
One of the worst feelings is when you fell out of the game.
If you're drinking and driving, you can do just the same.
In 2016, over 1 million people were arrested for driving under the influence.
Pass the keys to a sober driver.
Drive sober.
Brought to you by the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety.
Sometimes the best memories require getting a little messy. And frankly, that's where the fun begins. At Slumberland, we've got the styles for all your memories with our low price guarantee. Plus, right now, during our spring savings sale, get up to 65% off throughout the store on your favorite things. Get a little messy and always go for the memories. Slumberland, it's a good life.
If I'm driving to the basket, I protect the ball. If you had anything to drink, pass the keys to a sober driver. Protect your passengers and don't drink and drive.
Brought to you by the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety.
Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10 o'clock, more protests in Venezuela today.
Attempts to push President Nicolas Maduro from power this week were unsuccessful. We'll bring you the latest updates.
Besides a few spotty showers that we see moving through the area currently, we're going to have a dry weekend. We're taking a look at the timeline of your Saturday. Our low for overnight hours is 50 degrees, which is pretty seasonable. And we warm back up to 69 degrees, a little bit cool, but much warmer than we saw today. We'll see lots of sunshine, and that'll continue on through Sunday, but it's definitely going to make a change as we go through the rest of your work week. For next week, it's going to be a rainy one. We will be tracking out all of those storms, any storm threats or flash flooding. We'll be tracking that out, and you can find more information on KOMU8.com or the KOMU8 Weather and Traffic app.
A 24-year-old man finally met the woman who saved his life. 6 months ago, LaShonda Pugh put out a desperate plea to find her son a kidney. The mother chalked a message on her car's back window. A stranger named Star responded. She said she took a picture of the message and knew she had to do something. The hospital typically keeps donor and recipient information confidential. The two families put the pieces together when they struck up a conversation in the waiting room.
That is our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
On air, online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the News app, and the Weather app. KOMU 8 News. Coverage you can count on.
University Concert Series is proud to welcome the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, who have been aptly described as a ragtag collection of hippies, bohemians, and musicians of no fixed ambition. They've always